Hi, I'm Calvin. Have you ever wanted to learn self-defense? Well, boxing was a way for me. It showed many combinations, how to defend myself, and different techniques. And we'll go over that. The first technique I would like to go over is first getting your stance right. Your stance will be shoulder width apart, 1 foot in between. 1 foot, your right foot, whichever is your power foot if you're left-handed or right-handed. But I'm right-handed, so my power foot will be half of my other foot. Shoulder width apart, a foot in between. Knees bent, not too stiff, so you can have the bounce. Then, once you get your stance perfected, the next thing you will go into how you throw a punch. Some people throw punches like in a real fight, they throw loud. That's what we're trying to stay away from. So we'll go into a jab. A jab, which is called the one, is straight from the body, straight from the shoulder. So when you throw it, it's here. The jab is used as a technique for a defensive technique and to sit there and pop the head. You have the one jab, and then you got the double jab. The double jab is to catch you off guard. Whenever you think you could sit there and defend the first jab, here comes the second jab. So in doing so, you can throw as many as you want, but most of the time it's only 2 to 3 that gets thrown, or just one. So when throwing the jab is constantly, you step forward, you can step back when you're throwing the jab, and then you go on into your two. So your two is more of a power. So you got your jab, then you got your power punch. Once again, coming from the body, right here. Whenever I'm throwing with a power punch, my right foot, I'm right-handed, my right foot will turn. This is called unorthodox boxing if you're right-handed. My right foot turns to put power more behind it. So, and this would be 1 with the jab, 2 with the power. So 1, 2. 1, 2. As we're doing that, that shows that's tightened coming from the core, from the hips, and from the legs. That's where all your power is coming from. Then you have your 3. 1, 2, 3. The hook, or the uppercut, I'm sorry. The uppercut is also a power move. When you come up with the uppercut, it's more of a blinder because a lot of people don't see it coming because you got combinations that snaps the head. So when it comes to boxing, the things that we utilize are your wraps and your boxing gloves. And then you have an opponent or you got a bag, which for instance, we have a bag here. I'll show you how to utilize the wrap. So the first, when you put on a wrap, this right here is to protect your wrist, your knuckles, and your hand. So you got your thumb in, you wrap it around your wrist, tight, right? So that's keeping you from hurting your wrist. And then once you get twice around the wrist, you can go not too tight because you don't want to break your wrist or hurt yourself because it could cut the blood off. So then you start wrapping it around. Right now, I'm going around the thumb to protect my thumb and my wrist and my hand. Some of them are longer where you can go through your fingers as well. But we have a shorter one here, so we're not going to do too much of that. So, and make sure that you're constantly keeping it tight. Here I am going around my thumb again and around my wrist. Then I'm bringing it from my wrist to my hand. Then from my hand back to my wrist. You don't want too much around your thumb because then it becomes too much. You want the majority of it around your wrist and your knuckles because you don't want to bruise your knuckles either. So whenever putting it on, make sure that it's not too tight, but it's not too loose, because if it's too loose, you can hurt yourself. So now I'm putting the remainder around my wrist, and now my hand is wrapped. I have them on my knuckles, and I have a good wrist, and not too much on my thumb. Now, whenever we're going to throw our technique, now whenever I'm throwing, I am padded at my knuckles. Next, you have your boxing gloves. When putting boxing gloves on, you want to make sure that your hand's all the way in it. Most boxers, we put the glove at the stomach, making sure your hand's all the way in, and then the trainer pulls it down. You ball your fist, and then they tighten it to make sure it's on good. These are just the small techniques. Whenever it comes to boxing, I'll put on another glove. I don't have another wrap right now, but when boxing, you get your gloves on, your mouthpiece as well. Okay, that's the dental plan. Whenever boxing an opponent, you got your head, you got the body that you can always hit, right? So whenever throwing jabs, these are your head punches. Right here, a jab is a head punch. You see how I'm coming? Straight on, right? And you pop it. Pop it. So whenever popping it, that is a quick technique to get in and out. You also got your power punches, your hook. You got the uppercut. Those are head shots. You don't really see too many uppercuts to the body, but they do happen. And also jabs to the body. These are just different combinations. Combinations are the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the different numbers. But the biggest part is footwork. If you get caught standing still or your feet being settled, that's a good way to get knocked out. And always, always keep your chin tucked. When it comes to defense, parry. When it comes to defense, you parry. This is called parrying. You have the old block. George Foreman was famous for this. Or Mayweather. Mayweather is infamous for this, and a lot of kids today are using this one. It's the shoulder technique, the roll. Those are different techniques, and there's a lot more. Whenever boxing, stay on your feet, throw a jab, parry, and always keep your eyes open. Boxing is a good way to go because it keeps you in shape. It's not just for self-defense, but it also keeps you in shape. These are some of the techniques that I hope you utilize. And whenever you do find yourself needing to get in shape or needing to defend yourself, remember, boxing is one of the original fighting ways from this way to now this way. And whenever you find yourself in a jam, don't forget, you still have a great straight jab to get yourself out. But boxing is a good way to self-defense. Have you learned self-defense? If not, boxing is the way to go.